My name is Otieno. Okay, Olwana is my dad. He died a long time ago when I was some months old in the womb, so I never saw him. Then my mother was working in a Kericho tea farm. So there is basically where we were living when we were kids. We had me and my sister Mercy. So when my mother died some years ago, we had no option but to go back to the village to live with my grandmother. That means that I still managed to work my way out through primary school. Then I passed my primary school. I got 332 marks. With that marks, I was the first student. So the news of my exam results was very impressive, especially on my side. I was very happy. This is the time that now KCDF came in because they were sponsoring the first students per school in that our sub-county. So I was lucky that I was one amongst them. Yeah. So we are using this number to check our result. So when I checked my result, I had a B plane. I had some A's in sub-subjects like chemistry, CRE, was also having an A minus in subjects like agriculture, biology. So I was impressed by my overall grade was B plane because there were also some subjects that I failed. So I was very happy. When I received the calling letter from Egerton University, I can remember I received the letter from my primary school because I usually use my box for primary school because it's the nearest school. So when I went to collect it from the assembly, what I can remember, the school head teacher was in a cheerful mood. In fact, they represented that calling letter in a more cheerful manner. So I also received that calling letter when I was very happy because, you know, when you are called in an institution like Egerton University, you feel proud of yourself. You try to work high. But at the same time, this was going to strike, another disaster was going to strike because when immediately I opened the calling letter, when I opened the back page, that's where the fee structure was written. So my fee was going to be around 35,000 per year. So when I read all this fee structure, I was disappointed because I knew I had now to walk from every door to look for support. So I tried everything possible. I tried even to visit our former MCAs, but nothing could come through. So it reached a point that I gave up. The KCDF, the Kenya Community Development Fund, which funded me through my whole high school, I was now winding up the program. So they sent beneficiaries from Nairobi, and Biko was one of them. So their representative that was in our division called us and said that all the beneficiaries that were educated through KCDF were to be interviewed. So as one of the beneficiaries, I did some preparation, then I went for the interview. When we reached the interview, I realized that we were at least over 30 students that were beneficiaries. So being one of them, we were interviewed through the camera. Then after the interview, after we winded up the interview, then Biko called me aside. Jackson Biko called me aside. When he called me aside, he asked me where I was living. Then I told him I was renting a house in the nearby market. Then he wanted to know more about me. Then I told him that I was also expecting to join Egerton University, but due to lack of fees, I didn't manage. I just did my part that was manageable, but the rest that I could not manage, I just left there. So Biko promised me that, Biko gave me his number, and he told me that just take my number, we'll get in touch. And he gave me also 1,000 shillings. He told me, go and pay your rent, then this is my number, call me anytime, but I will also get back to you. So when I had his number, I kept it. He wrote that number in a small piece of paper, then he gave me. Because I didn't have a phone, I just put that number in my pocket. Then I walked back home. Yeah. After Biko had managed to get me back to school, then when we were now going for our long holidays, then he called me and asked me if I can come to Nairobi for a holiday. Then I accepted because I knew back home there was nobody I was going to live with. So when I accepted, he told me that there was someone who was willing to spend with me the holiday. So he gave me her number. Her name was Dabi. So when I was coming to Nairobi, then we met with Dabi in Nairobi Westlands. Then Dabi picked me to her house. When Dabi picked me to her house, then we stayed there for about 2 days. Then Biko called me and asked me if I can accept a job offer. Then I was very impressed because this was going to be my first job. Then he told me that there is a good company, a nice company that is called Java, though I didn't know if there is something like Java existing. So he called me and told me that now just go to that, they will call you for a small interview. Go in that interview, have confidence and pass that interview. So, and if they offer you a job, be responsible and show and work hard so that at least you can help yourself and you can also have some pocket money for yourself. Yeah. Sincerely, on my first day, I didn't know what a steward was meaning. But when now I was to report to my station, then I was told the steward will do the cleaning in the kitchen. Steward will do the dishes and the cups. So to me, this work was a bit easier because it just entailed about cleaning. So I felt comfortable with it. So I washed the dishes for about 1 year. Then I had a friend who was a head barista called James Junguna. James always wanted me to be a barista. So James will sometimes joke to me and tell me, you know, Java is barista, Java is barista. That's the reason why counter is the image of Java. Sometimes we will use that words. So personally, because also coffee is what I tasted first from Java food, so I get interested in barista. So sometimes I can use my weekends, I can use available time when I was free and train as a barista, because for you to be a complete barista, you have to train for 6 months. Yeah, 6 months, approximately 3 hours a day. Yeah, so you have to go from progress to progress. You have to go from progress. You have to start from machines, everything, before you even start coffee production. At the same time, when you fully graduated from coffee training, you have to go to the floor. To the floor now, you have to familiarize with your guests. In case of anything, you can also assist the guests. So I trained, I took my time. James was free with me. He once even told me that even if it will take you 3 years to know barista, I'm ready to wait for you until one day you will know. To me personally, Java is my home. Yeah, Java is my home because there's no home I know apart from Java. Java is where I spent a lot of my time. Java is where I knew everything. Java is where I know love exists, because it's at Java that at least I started interacting with so many different people from different diversity. Is this at Java that at least I received my legal coin? Is at Java that at least I can buy my personal item? Is at Java at least I've bought my first shoes with my money? Is at Java at least I can say that my life is now heading into a positive direction? So Java to me is just home. It's just home. It's somewhere that I can say I belong to.